Hi everybody, Dizzy Crafter here with a video. This is something a bit different and something I personally have never done before. Basically I've started college doing a Creative Crafts Level 1 course and I wanted to decorate the front of my sketchbook. Just got this sketchbook from Hobbycraft and it's by C. White of Brighton. And it's got 50 pages and it's 160 GSM and it's A4 in size. But the first thing I need to do is actually remove the spiral. So that's the first thing what we're going to do. So I've got to move the back page to the front so then it can expose the wires here to try and undo it. Now this is again something I've never done, so hopefully I can get to grips with it and it's going to be quite easy, I'm hoping. So I'm just going to take some pliers. These are the only pliers I actually had and I'm not too sure. Yeah, I thought as much that these ones was going to be too big, but hopefully I can do it with a set of tweezers and the pliers. And I just need to open these up a little bit. I'm just going to set the rest of the book to one side. Now I'm going to be gluing some letters on the front of here, so I just want to make sure those letters are straight. So I'm just going to put a pencil line down so that I can put my words on that way. With my words, all I've done is die cut lots of the letters I need to spell out Creative Crafts Level 1, and I've glued lots of them together and I've got lots of different thicknesses so that there's some dimension going on. So I'm just going to put the letters on now. So we've got all our letters stuck on now, and now I'm just going to go and find some other embellishments that I want to add to my front cover. Well, I've collected lots of my embellishments and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to potter about and see what I want to do. So I'm not going to talk through it because that'll just take too long. I'm just going to place things where I think I like it and I'll just speed through that. So let's get on with it. I think that's more or less the composition I'm going to go with, but before I attach these I want to just do a bit of texture work on it. So I need to get my table ready with my craft mat and everything, and then I shall be back. I'm going to be using this stencil by Pretty Gets Gritty. I think it's called the Taj Mahal, and I'm actually going to use this thick texture paste which I've never used before again, so I'm just going to crack on and hope for the best. Made a little bit of a mess of that, but not to worry, it is all, some of it's going to be hidden anyway, so we're just going to put to that one side and we can do the back. All I'm going to do now is actually take my paintbrush and just whiz that through the holes just in case any of that texture paste has gone through, because we don't want to not be able to put the spiral back in. Once I'm happy with them, I'm just going to then give it a blast with a heat tool. I'm just going to set this one to side because we're not going to do anything with this for the time being. Now I'm just going to place my pieces back where I actually wanted them before, and then we're going to glue these on. I think that's where we're going to glue them on, and I'm just going to be using the Pretty Gets Gritty Gel Medium. Lynette swears by this. This will not come off if you've glued it with this. It will not come off, and that's what I'm hoping for. Well, my battery overheated just as I was actually putting the last couple of bits on here, but so I've left it overnight to dry and everything's solid. So all I'm going to do now is put some white gesso on from Pretty Gets Gritty over the whole of the front and the back page. I'll put the first coat of the gesso on this page. I'm just going to do the back page off camera, and I'll probably do 2 to 3 layers of the gesso, but I will let you know once that side of it is completed. Well, it's all nice and dry. I did actually put 3 coats of gesso on top of this, and what I did decide to do is, because it got gesso on the back here, I just decided to go over with a stencil and gesso the back as well, and the same on here, and hopefully that will then deter from the bits of gesso that got caught in the back from being on the mat and stuff. I don't really know what to do from here. I have brought out numerous of these sprays with me, and I've got my brushes here with my fan brush, which kind of got caught. I know that I want blues, pinks, greens, possibly purples. I don't really know how I'm going to go about it, so I've literally just going to have to dive in. I haven't done anything like this before, so it is all new to me. I have used sprays and stuff, but it's just been on a card, not something where I've put a lot of time and effort in. I'm guessing if it all goes belly up, then I can just gesso over the top again and restart, but obviously I don't want to have that time and the messing of all that. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of the back piece because we don't need that just yet. I'm going to concentrate on doing this main feature first. And I do have a little spray box. So I'm glad it'll actually fit in this black box. I didn't think it would quite fit in. So yeah, so that's a good. So yeah, what do we go in with first? Would we go in with the brushes, or would you go in with the sprays? Now, the trouble is with a lot of these sprays, there's a lot of mica in them, and I've only got these 2 here. There is no mica in them. I know I can make my own sprays using my brushes and stuff, but I've just not got time to do that today, and I want to get this project finished and then I can knock it all off. So this is where my kind of colour scheme came in with the blues and the purples, but I love greens, so yeah. I'm just literally procrastinating because I'm a bit nervous about doing it. So let's just dive in. I think we'll go blue to purple. And that is a lot brighter than I was wanting. I'm not going to lie. So I think what I will do is spray some water on it, and hopefully that will dilute it somewhat. I was really hoping for a much paler look, and then I just want to manoeuvre it a little bit so it can kind of go into each other, and maybe get rid of quite a lot of that excess. Right, and then I'm going to dab quite a lot of this off just because that is way deeper colour than what I was hoping for, and I'm hoping this will relieve that and make it much paler for me. But I feel like we need some other colour going on up here as well. Green Brusho, I think. Should we go sea green? I think we'll go with sea green Brusho. Again, let's get it to run a little bit into that blue. And I'm thinking maybe a little bit of that sea green down on this diagonal as well. I'm going to put more water here because there's a lot of the Brusho that's not dispersed. It's going to cause quite a lot of extra liquid. Now I'm just going to give that a blast with the heat tool and see how we go, what it looks like from there. I mean, it's much darker, but I'm hoping it dries that little bit lighter. Well, I'll give that a quick dry, and it's still probably a little bit wet underneath some of the metal embellishments especially, but it's dried as much as I'm going to dry it for now. I do like how these flowers have caught every bit of colour in there, so I'm thinking maybe add a little bit of pink to this colour here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the crimson Brusho to there, and it will activate everything else, and I could get it paler as well if I did add more water, which I may just do, but I'm just going to go with this to see how this fares here. It may not work, I don't know, like I say, all new to this. Oh wow, that's very red. I was expecting it to be pinker than that. Just going to let that drip down the sides there because I don't want any more drips coming down this way. And I think I'm just going to lighten up this purple a little bit as well, so I'm going to just dilute it again with some more water. And then I'm going to dry it again with the heat tool. I've dried that off, but I just kind of feel like the purple just kind of starts here. So I kind of want it wisping into this blue somehow. I'm not 100% certain should I go with the Brusho, but that seemed very, very red, even though it's come out a bit more pinker there. Or should I go in with this Dylusions, which that's where I'm leaning to, and maybe just spray it and hopefully like try to avoid the flowers, because I really like how those flowers have turned out, and maybe just take it down that way, just so that it doesn't feel like half the book is being cut in half. I hope that makes sense. Like, I really like how the blue and the green have integrated together. So that's where I'm kind of going and hoping that that's how it works. So I feel like that's more than enough, and then I'm just going to actually spray it again with loads of water to try and dilute it. Now, I don't want it taking over the blue, so I need to try and get that flat and get the excess off now. And I do actually think that looks a lot better, so again I'm going to dry it. Right, I'm not going to actually add any more sprays or Brushos to this, but I am going to leave it a while so that it can continue to dry in the places. I can see like around the letters it's still a little bit wet, so I can actually start working on the back cover, so that's what we'll do next. And I'm literally just going to use those same sprays if I can remember. I think I will use the blue and the purple of these for certain, and then some of the Brushos. So that's what we'll start with these again. But I feel like we've gone the opposite way this time, but that doesn't really matter. Dilute this like we did last time anyway. And we'll just let them colours run into each other again. We'll get that lovely ombre if we just keep tilting it back and two, and let it find its own way. I really like how that one's gone, better than the front page, which is a little bit disheartening, but hey ho. Right, and then I think we added some of the sea green Brushos at each diagonal corner, so that's what we'll do again. What I think I should have done actually is only do one corner at a time, and then that way I'd have had a little bit more control over things, but it is what it is. So I'm just trying to get the colours to blend into each other again. This is it all dried up, but I want to colour in the letters, and I'm going to be using this wax paste by Pentart, and it's a metallic gold. This is the paint, so I'm just going to paint all the letters up with this. So that's the letters done, and I want to take the same paint, and I'm just going to dry brush over all of it to pick up little bits. I've never actually done this before, so I am a little bit nervous and it may not turn out as what I'm expecting, but I'm willing to give it a go. I mean, what's the worst can happen? It's only a cover for my book anyway. So I'm just going to dab my brush, and I've got like a really bristly brush, in the paint, and then I'm going to dab off the excess on the side because I don't want a great deal of the paint on my brush. And then I'm just going to wisp over a little bit in places. And then I'm going to repeat this process just on over all of this back page as well. You can just see these little bits of that gold just shimmering through on all of that, and it just ties in that gold really. And then I'm just going to buff over the letters with a dry cloth to just try and bring up some more of that sheen. Next thing I'm going to do is just go over the edges with some black soot distress ink, and I'm just using a blending tool. I mean, you could use a stenciling brush, you can just use whatever you want, and I just want to add a bit of depth around the edges really. And you just want to do the same on the back page. Now I'm going to take some other white Jetto and just dry brush again in other areas to highlight and to bring some white into it. And again, all I do with this is take a dry brush, dab it into the gesso, and then dab the excess off so we've got very little on. And then I'm keeping my hand up at the top of the brush, if that makes sense, just so we're going on very lightly. I want to add a little bit more texture in these plainer areas, so I'm just going to take some bubble wrap and put some gesso on there and then press it on, and this will hopefully give some extra texture and bring some more of that white back into the cover itself. Just got the gesso on there, and I'm just using my fingers to just lightly press it on there. And I don't actually want to do that on the back cover, I just wanted it on the front cover, so I'm quite happy with that. I want to add even more texture, so I'm going to actually add some of this Pinflair Ice Diamond. Now this was gifted to me, so I don't know if you can buy this still, I don't know. But what I do is when I've used it, I'll put it in a pot so that I know this is used, so it doesn't matter if there's bits of colours and stuff like that, and it's not going back in here because this is nice and fresh, and it does pick up some colour so it isn't as bright. So that's what I'm going to be using in here, and I'm just going to lay some glue down here and there and add them on. And that just adds that little bit of texture and glimmer to them. And then I think I'm going to put some gemstones down the butterflies bodies as well, and I'm just using these gemstones I've had for many years. So that's them on, and it just adds that little extra bling, as I really love bling. And I think the last thing I'm going to do is actually just go around the whole edge, like this edge here, with this gold pen. I don't know if this one will work, but we'll give it a go. I don't know if it's going to be gold enough for me. No, I think I'll use a different gold and hopefully that one will be a bit better. So I've got this Spectrum Noir acrylic paint one. So we'll give this a good shake. It's a brand new one, so hopefully this one will be better. See, this is like a yellow gold really. And because I'm not too sure, I'm just going to go on this edge because you'll not really see this edge. But that's showing up much, much better actually. I'm going to continue to do that and I'll be back shortly. That's that done, but I'm kind of not liking like the sides of the letters, so I'm actually, I don't know if I'm being daft here or not, but I think I might just try to go around, especially the ones that is really raised, and try and get in with the brush pen from Spectrum Noir and colour it in black. I may live to regret this, but we'll have a go anyway. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'll come back once I've completed it because that is going to take some time and I'm sure you don't need to see me doing it. Well, I've done around the letters and I kind of wish I hadn't because I caught it a little bit with the marker here and I cannot get it off. But it is what it is and it does make it stand out that little bit more. The last thing I want to add is some of these pearls from Pretty Gets Gritty. I'll show you. So we've got lots of these little pearls, so I was thinking we'd probably add some of these with the gel medium. I'm just going to put some in the lid. And then we'll just pop some of these here, there and everywhere. So that's the book cover done. I'm not going to move this just because obviously we've got to wait for that gel medium to dry, but just going to show you what we did on the inside and the back of there is exactly the same, and I've just used those colours and then I've just put over some mica pigments and stuff, and that's where the sheen is coming in. So that's that. So what I'll do is wait for this to dry and then I will bind it back onto the book and then I'll show you what it looks like once it's completed. The book is now complete and I've attached it back to the spiral of the spine in the book. And this is what it looks like. I mean, I think it's a little bit too tight, so I'll probably have to loosen the string up a little bit. And then there's the back page. But for now, I'm very happy with that. I don't actually know how full this book is going to get at all, so I may have to rejig the spine anyway, and maybe even buy a new binding ring actually, depending on how much we fill this up. But what I will do is once I've finished the course, because the course is I think 11 or 12 weeks, so once I've completed the course I will then share with you what we learnt on the course, and hopefully this kind of fits in with the theme because I don't really know much about what it is. I'm just guessing we've got lots of different crafting elements to the actual course itself. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out for my first attempt at doing something like this. And what do you guys think? I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you would please comment and subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I shall catch you in the next video. Bye.